Hi guys, it's Mike here. I'm doing a quick video here, and this one is about mainly it's for newbies who are thinking of getting into the realms of RevShare, dipping their toes, so to speak, into various RevShare programs that just seem to be proliferating all over the place at the moment. You can't get out of bed without stepping into another RevShare. They seem to be everywhere these days. So basically what I'm just doing a quick 4-step guide in order to help you decide what it is you're going to be, what you have to look for prior to getting into the world of RevShares. So okay, there are 4 things that I look at before I decide on going into a RevShare. And these are the things I think of before I actually even pick a RevShare actually, or even consider one. They have to meet these criteria as far as I'm concerned. The first one is credibility. Now, there are so many RevShares that are popping up. It seems like at least 20 RevShares popping up every day. Some of these RevShares you don't know who controls it. It could be a 16-year-old in his bedroom who's just cuddled up a RevShare together and he's given it a name and he's launched it. You don't know who they are. So what I tend to look for is the people who are responsible for the RevShare, who's actually put it together. What are their reasons for doing it? What are their history? Where are they coming from? Do they have a good record? Do they have a bad record? Do they have a terrible reputation? Or is their reputation enhanced for something that they did previously? So I'd like to know who's involved in a particular program. Programs I'm in, I've either met the people, spoken to them, or chat with them on Facebook or wherever. So I get to know them in some way. I know kind of what they're like as an individual, and so you can kind of, get a picture as to who it is who are actually going to be running this particular RevShare. The second point I'm looking at is sustainability. A lot of these new RevShares come up. There's a big one out at the moment. I'm not going to name any names, but it's come up with some amazing earning ratios. You put a small amount in, and within a few months, you're earning a huge amount. You've got to get in there, and you've got to weigh up how they're protecting the program, how these huge earnings or projected earnings are going to be sustained. Because what happens is a lot of these, as with all businesses, a lot of these RevShares need new people coming in who are going to be purchasing the products, i.e. advertising. Without people purchasing advertising, that's the backbone of this industry. They can't afford to be paying out these huge payments that they promise at the front end. So you have to dig in, find out what the repurchase rate is. A lot of RevShare have a thing is they have a 50-50, whereby when you come to take your earnings out, you keep 50% for yourself in cash, and 50% automatically goes back into the program, and that helps keeps the program sustainable. So it's got constant funds being reinvested, excuse me, kept in the business and working the business and keeping things oiling the engine, so to speak. Some other RevShares, it seems that they don't even consider this, and they don't have that. There's no automatic repurchase, so people can actually withdraw whatever amount they want when they want. And on the face of it, that sounds fine, but you have to consider that there are some unscrupulous people out there who will take advantage of this and suddenly just withdraw all their funds, and then suddenly the program is depleted of funds. That's happened time and time again. So a lot of the more credible RevShares have had this sorted out. They had a backup plan, and they've got other things in place which will avoid problems like that. So sustainability is a very important aspect of RevShares. The other point I like is transparency. Does the RevShare do they have a Facebook group? Are there other people that you can ask questions about the particular program? What are people saying about the program? Is everybody being paid? You have to find out that people are in fact being paid. You have to find out what is the support system like. Are people's questions being answered? And when they do put forward a question, how long does it take for the program to answer those questions? I would think anything from, I don't know, 6 hours to 48 hours max, I think, because then you know that there is kind of like a team on board who are dedicated to respond to people's concerns or questions. If it takes you like a week or 2 weeks to get a response to a simple question, you know that it's probably 1 or 2 guys operating it, or a 16-year-old in his bedroom. He's only doing it after school. So I would suggest ask those questions on Facebook's forums. Get as much information as you can. Do you know what the actual owner looks like? Does he put himself forward? You know his name. Does he do webinars? A lot of the established RevShares, their owners are available all the time. They're in webinars, they're chat, they're in Skypes, they're in Facebook groups and various things like that. And so you want to find out, what are the owners like? Are they out there? Are they willing to put themselves forward? So all these little things you have to dig and find out a little bit. Once all these things are added up, it gives you an overall picture of what this particular RevShare is like. And also, the last thing, is it profitable? The profitability. Is there money to be made in it? Okay. Now let's put aside some of the RevShares with these amazing claims that they have of 50% a day and all that kind of nonsense. Some RevShares look very good, very, very professionally put together. But some of the rates, once you take out the reinvestment rule and everything else that you have to consider, processing fees and everything else, is it actually worth putting funds into a program? Taking part in a program. What is their advertising actually like? Are you going to get a good response? There are some RevShare platforms where you would advertise a product or another business that you may have, and the results that you get are phenomenal. There's one huge one that everybody knows, that their results from advertising is fantastic. It is really good, and it's well worth the money in buying their advertising. But there are some others that seem to they do not have the same type of membership. There are two that have quality membership, where members who are actively looking for new businesses to be involved in, and so you're going to get a greater response from there. Where there are some other RevShare companies who the members tend to be a slightly different caliber of member, if you know what I mean. It's I don't know. It's, how can you say it? It's almost like you're comparing like Macy's, and then you go to Walmart, and there's a big chasm between the two. They're looking for different things, as it were. So a lot of RevShares have slightly different type of membership, so you have to take that on board. So just find out whether or not that particular RevShare is what you're looking for, or is good enough for you. So basically that's it, actually, to come to the end of this video. That's the 4 points that I would look at. First of all, there may be other things that you may be a little bit curious about, but if you're just getting into the whole RevShare business, so I would look at these points. If they satisfy you, if all these 4 points satisfy you, I would actually take a punt on one of the RevShares that catches your eye. But they have to adhere to these 4 points. You will know by looking at the various RevShare whether or not it's right for you. Is the owner, is he quite right? Is he a bit strange? Is he making excuses? Is the site going down? Do they have problems with their server? All these other things. There are lots of issues that various websites suffer from, and the best websites are the ones who have been through the storm, come out at the other end, and are still going. One of the main points that I like, that keeps me happy, is if the RevShare has been around for about 2 years. If a RevShare has been around for about 2 years, you know that they have been through the mill and they've come out the other end, and they're still going, and they're still earning, still making their members money. So they're obviously doing something right. Whereas a beta launch or a fresh face RevShare has just launched with bells whistling and flags and banners and everything, everybody's going crazy for it. It has no history. It has no track record. Nobody knows anything about it. The only thing that it's got going for it is people's faith in its advertising and the people who have promoted it. So you have to use a lot of common sense here. Myself, I tend to be a little bit conservative when it comes to RevShare. If they had paid their dues, so to speak, they have walked the walk and they're actually still talking the talk. That's the kind of RevShare that I'm looking for. That I know that I can buy advertising, or I can put money in, put funds in, and I'm a lot more confident that next week it's still going to be there doing the same thing, as opposed to a new launch or a fly-by-night that will it be there tomorrow, let alone next week. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you've got any questions, just hit me up on Facebook or email me. All the details are down in the descriptions. Subscribe to me. Reach out if I can help you in any way. I'll endeavour to. I'm always on hand to help you guys. So with that, I shall see you all in the next video, which will be very soon. So until then, you take care. Okay, bye.